Hey, I'm Eric.
And I'm Ashley.
You're watching Irwin and Friends.
So these here are Bean and Sprout, and we've had them for probably about a month now, I want to say.
About that.
They are both, I would consider, rescues, considering they came from a home who just honestly did not know how to care for them and wasn't caring for them properly. They had no UVB, their light wasn't proper as their heat wasn't getting, or their basking spot wasn't getting hot enough. And as you can see, they are greatly affected by the way that they were raised. I'll insert pictures of them as well when they were babies because I do have 2 pictures of each of them. And you can just see how bad the MBD is now because they were perfectly fine as babies, and this is what happens when you don't supplement them or give them UVB.
Yeah, so as you can see here with Bean, her back legs, they, I don't want to say don't work. She has a little bit of troubles with them. Since we got her, she's put in so much more effort than she was before. Like, she wouldn't even really try to move. Now she hasn't really walked on her back legs, but she's able to prop herself up. And she doesn't do it for long, but she does try. She has a lot of fight in her. But as you can see here with Sprout, his arms are a little tucked in. But honestly, as you can see here, he has no problems moving. As you guys saw in part 1, no problems moving. Honestly, they live life to the fullest. We don't want to talk too much about them because we could go on for a while. So we're going to move on, and we're going to do a special video just on them at some point. But let's move on to, let's start off with Ozzie.
So this here is our first Euromastix. Well, he wasn't our first one, but the first one we're going to show. His name is Ozzie, and he was named after Ozzy Osbourne's song Crazy Train because he is absolutely nuts. Especially when we first got him, which we got him from an amazing breeder here in Canada. I am going to butcher the name. Eleveges Lizard, something like that.
It's French, so like it is a little difficult to say. They're out in Quebec, so.
Yeah, this here is the proper pronunciation. I don't know if I need to do that, but can't see. Or the proper spelling for it. And she is an amazing breeder. Her and her husband are awesome. Their facility is great. And he is absolutely beautiful. Currently, you can't really see his yellows because he is a little bit cooler. And if you don't know Euromastics, they do get quite dark when they're cold. Usually he would be bright yellow, and I will insert a picture if I can find one, which I'm sure I will. And honestly, he has come a long way since we first got him. We're going to do a whole video on him too. We're going to do a video on every one of our lizards individually because each one of them deserves a video. But yeah, he is a year and almost 3 months. Yeah. He was born July 5th, wasn't it?
Yes.
July 5th, 2018. And he has been an absolute sweetheart to have.
And one thing that honestly I always forget and kind of forgot to mention is you notice he is a little tiny because he was actually a twin. So some people don't know this, but it is possible for reptiles to produce 2 offspring in the eggs. And yeah, there was 2 of them. And Ozzie, right when we saw him, we knew we wanted him. Put down a down deposit and did what we could. And we got him back in March. And it was kind of funny because it was too cold here in Canada to be able to ship him. So we literally waited from the end of January to the end of March just to get him.
Yep.
Because, you know, obviously you want him to come in nice and healthy. And we were told too by, her name is Elizabeth, is that she thought he was a male because one thing Euros do is they mark their territory by spinning around. And it's a little odd, but it's just what they do. And she had noticed him do it once, so she kind of thought so. And since then, we've seen him do it twice, so that kind of tells us. One thing Euromastics have a little bit more that I'll just talk about real quick is their pores. You probably can't see them on this guy because they're very tiny, but on Irwin, when we show you later, he's got big pores, so you can kind of see the difference, and usually males have a lot more. And one thing with Uromastyx is they're sexually dimorphic. So usually they're a lot brighter, and he's looking a little dull, but one way you can tell is he's got a nice amount of yellow there underneath his chest. And honestly, but he is the greatest, but he is also one of the sassiest lizards we got. And yeah, that's Ozzie.
And we will definitely be doing a whole video on him soon to explain everything.
Yeah, and Uromastyx in general as well. So finally, this is Irwin. Irwin is the first Uromastyx and first lizard we've ever got.
And the name of this channel.
Yeah, because he's the one who really started our love for reptiles. Again, like we said before, that everybody's going to get their individual videos because, as you guys can probably see, he has some little bit of white spots there on his neck, his elbows, and his shoulders. Because when we got him, he was actually pretty badly burned and we didn't realize. So we ended up taking him to the vet, you know, getting shots and gave him baths in a certain solution that that's prescribed for him. And it did wonders. He is doing great. As you can see, he just moves non-stop. He's really our only lizard we try to free roam as much as possible, because he just loves to get out and explore, and he's the one we trust the most. And just real quick with what I was saying before, if he will stop moving, kind of see his big chunky legs there, he's got big pores. And that's one way to tell that he's a male. And I don't know if I did say he is a yellow Uromastyx, and they're pretty easy to tell. With some Euros are a little difficult, but we were told originally, and a little bit of our fault, we didn't know for sure. We were told he was an Egyptian Uromastyx, and anybody who knows anything about Uromastyx, they are fully like brown, and yeah, they get like probably about twice the size of this guy. They're the biggest species of Uromastyx, and yeah, he's not an Egyptian. But yeah, this is Irwin and his cute little face that's shedding.
You know, this snout.
Yeah, that is something that is produced only by things in the iguana family, and it's pretty much a water secretion of the salt in their nose. And it comes out, and it is kind of gross, and you got to clean the glass a lot. That's why you see people with, I find majority it is rhino iguanas. You'll see in their enclosures, they need to be cleaned like 3 times a day from the amount of smell that comes out. But yeah, this is Irwin. So this is our a tank of decor and aspen. Okay, it's a sun skink. Her name is Sunny. She is not handleable whatsoever. We got her from a expo back in February, and we tried to work with her with handling and stuff like that. She is wild caught. You know, do your research on wild caughts and captive breds and captive bred and borns, because it does really matter. But she was looking a little skinny when we saw her and stuff, but she stood out, and we just couldn't help ourselves. But she spends literally all her time in this enclosure, because we just don't bother with her, because it's more of a risk on her. She, a couple times, because obviously I have to take her out when I do cleanings and whatnot, and that can be stressful. I have to have my hands in here and put her into a container, take the container out, and it is difficult. So we do leave handling to the most minimal amount as possible, so practically none. And we'll get into it more when we do a little bit more video. Some of them will, when we do individual videos, we might add 2 together, because some don't have as many stories. But
we'll definitely talk about her, because the day after we brought her home, we unfortunately had a problem where she ended up in our vent. And it was terrifying. We lost her for about 2.5 hours, if not a little bit more. And it was absolutely terrifying, because we thought that we were either going to lose her because she was going to pass away, or we had just lost her from going down there. And thankfully she came out, but we're going to make a whole video on that because that's a crazy story.
Yeah, we got pictures, got some videos and stuff from sticking our phones inside the bench. So
Yep.
it is a sad story, like, but it is also good because she came out of it. We didn't realize because at that time we only had Erwin, and we went for her. And as you can see by the size of her enclosure, and if you do know some skinks, then we will insert pictures.
She's like that big.
Yeah, a little bit. Like she's got a long tail, but her body is not too big. So she's not the same as Erwin. So we are treating her the same as Erwin, and
which was our fault.
And that's how she got lost. Luckily, we did find her, and we treated her like Sunny ever since. And yeah, she was quite happy just being in here. We don't see her basking at all or doing anything. Usually she waits till we're out of the room, but she comes out, she eats her bugs. She does eat a little bit of cat food. She drinks her water, and she does like her heat. So we know she is doing well. So we're gonna insert some pictures of. We do have a crested gecko. His name is Reptar. He is only a couple months old.
Yeah, he's about 5 months old now, I believe. He's
a youngin', but it is a little early here, and so he's sleeping, but we'll insert some pictures, and we're going to do a video just on him and everything. But this here is, we believe, our American toad Charming. So he is also wild caught. It was by me, but I almost had ran him over with a lawnmower, and I would have felt horrible. So I made sure this guy was safe while I was cutting the grass, and he was just super friendly, and I offered him a couple of bugs, and he loved it. So yeah, this is Charming. He really doesn't do too much. If you guys do know about toads and frogs and stuff, you should always wet your hand, and I did give my hand a good spray, but it's looking dry, so I do want to go put him back, so I'm not getting too much of my skin on him, you know? Oils. So one thing I wanted to mention when I had Charming out, but I kind of forgot. So we did have a Pac-Man frog as well. His name was Yoshi. He was only, honestly, he wasn't too old. Unfortunately, he did pass from red leg syndrome only a couple weeks ago. So we're gonna do a whole video on him and red leg disease and what we learned about it. Because one thing, if you have a amphibian, it usually goes for them. If it does affect them, you can cure it, but also it is a little difficult. So don't ever try to beat yourself up too much if unfortunately something passes from it, because we're trying not to. But trying to keep on a better note. This here is Peanut and Butter. They are Redeared Sliders. We're thinking about maybe 8-7 years old. We got them from a family who they bought them for their sons years ago, and 7 years ago, and they just slowly grew out of them as they grew up, and they thought it was time for them to go to a better home, and here they are. They're not handled very often, so you can see she's all tucked up, and surprisingly she's poking her head up, but you know, they're doing real good, and as you can probably hear throughout this whole video, that the trickling, yeah, that's their filter. It might be a little annoying, sorry about that, we've just gotten used to it. But yeah, this is our Redeared Sliders, and she's trying to kick away from me, so we're gonna go put them back. We also do have 2 betta fish, one is Shadow and one is Fireball. We're gonna insert some pictures and stuff. Once we get a little more mobile, things will be a little bit easier. But so far we're just gonna do some inserting. But so that's all our, you know, 4-legged and I guess no-legged, but in water. We hope you enjoyed. Again, if there's anything you guys want to see, drop it down in the comment section.
We'll be having videos posted soon of individual stories and whatnot, so be looking forward to those, and I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, remember, like, comment, subscribe.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see ya. Nom, 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 nom. There you go.
For some reason, Peanut was trying to burn herself. Business card.
That's a magnet.
Business magnet.
But, yeah, this is our Redeared Sliders, and she's trying to kick away from me. So,
Yeah,
we're gonna go
so-
put them back.